So let us take a moment to feel that spirit, to tap into that one love, that one life, that magic, that divine power that is in this place and in each and every one of us. Recognizing that today is already blessed, we just take this moment to say yes, to honor what is ours to hear, knowing that the words that we take are perfect for our journey at this time. Blessing the speaker, allowing that flow of God to just come right through. We just surrender and trust in that divine unfoldment. And so it is.
And so it is.
Well, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
It's really sunny, guys. I'm too excited to be up here. The sun's got me really excited. We are an interfaith gathering, a spiritual community that honors all teachings and all spiritual teachers. And now we begin our ceremony that celebrates this oneness of life and acknowledges that all people and all faiths come from the one universal presence, which we call spirit. And our beautiful candlelighter this morning is Miss Ann. And so let us begin. The Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. Shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of pristine spirituality. Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. And of course, New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And the last candle is the healing candle of love. So we invite you in the stillness of your own mind to bring to awareness the names of anyone or anything you wish to be included in this healing flame of love and light. And now that our flames of faith are fully lit, we move forward into our celebration, realizing and reaffirming that all paths lead to God. Thank you so much, Anne. So please join me in our purpose, vision, and mission statement. Our purpose, which is our reason for being. We awaken and inspire love and oneness. And our vision, which is what do we want to become or create? We are an empowered, uplifting, inclusive community. Yes. And our mission, how are we going to do this? We teach spiritual transformation with grace and joy. Yes, thank you, thank you. So our sacred reading for today comes from Joyce Roop. The book is titled Prayer. The paradox of prayer is that as it strengthens us inwardly, it also strengthens us outwardly. As we grow spiritually, we become ever more effective catalysts of love in the marketplace. We discover the Holy One within us and the Holy One beyond us. We learn there are no divisions between the sacred and the secular when our vision is transformed. Our entire life becomes imbued with Godness as we notice the Holy One's touch anywhere and everywhere. And back to our music.
You will do amazing things with the choice each new day brings, and with every step you take, bless the progress that you make. Reason you live is found in every gift you give. Love your life, love your dreams. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing,
Thank you, choir. That was lovely. I feel like that song should be required to be played every Sunday because it just puts me in a place. Well, good morning once again, and welcome to the Alaska Center for Spiritual Living. It's our favorite part of the day where we get to do announcements, but actually there's a lot of really fun stuff happening right now. But before we dive into that, today's talk has a lot to do with prayer. And before we jump into that, we are here to support you in prayer. And so really important that we put that out there. If you are in times of need, which it comes up at any given moment, there are so many ways to reach out for support. And we will say, yes, there are many licensed practitioners that are available to you when you need it. So we've got a few people in the room today. There's always the telephone number and there's the website as well. So take advantage of that prayer. Aside from that, we've got some really exciting opportunities for education on a spiritual level. Starting September 14th, we have our very own Tony Shannon, who is going to be doing Revealing Wholeness. And so registration is going to be through the office at cslalaska.org. So it's email to get set up so you can join that class. And then we have our very own Bob and Kaleem, who are going to be doing Power of Your Word. I've had the chance to take classes with Bob. I've had chance to take classes with Kaleem, and they are some of my favorite classes. So I already know this is going to be incredible, and it is over Zoom. So it makes it very easy to tap in from the comfort of your own space, and that will be starting September 30th. So once again, send those emails out, and let's get you signed on up. After our special music today, I just really want to personally say thank you, Kaleem, for stepping up on a moment's notice. Clearly, this was the message that we were meant to receive today. So we will migrate into our special music and then be blessed with that after.
I'm gonna shout to the world in highest jubilee. I'm gonna shout to the world for everyone to see, and I will raise my voice because I'm so happy. I'm alive, I am alive, I am alive. I'm gonna shout to the world in highest jubilee. I'm gonna shout to the world for everyone to see, and I will raise my voice because I'm so happy. I'm alive, I am alive, I am alive. And on this day, I'm feeling great. I celebrate standing in my power. Oh, on this day, I'm feeling great. I celebrate, oh yeah, feeling great, oh yeah. And on this day, I'm feeling great. I celebrate standing in my power. Oh, on this day, I'm feeling great. I celebrate, oh yeah, feeling great, oh yeah. I'm gonna shout to the world in highest jubilee. I'm gonna shout to the world for everyone to see, and I will raise my voice because I'm so happy. I'm alive, I am alive, I am alive. I am alive, I am alive, I am alive. I am alive, I am alive. I am alive.
You're up.
I was so caught up in that song. I forgot that I'm next. Right? Well, of course, I'd like to share with you a couple of Zen stories. The reason why I like Zen stories, of course, because Zen stories remind us that there's you and I as we're the students, we're the seekers of truth and enlightenment. And of course, the master represents that wise, developed teacher. And for some, they said that he might be the infinite spirit itself. Right? So however you might want to visualize that, I trust that it'll fit your needs. But so, first Zen story. There was this Zen student approached the master and he said, "Master, I want to achieve enlightenment." And the master said, "Plant rice." So the student says, "Okay, master." So he really heard him plant rice. And he said, "Master, I planted the rice. I want to achieve enlightenment." He says, "Cook rice." So the student went away, he cooked rice. "Master, I did my duties, my daily duties. I planted rice and I cooked rice. I want to achieve enlightenment." He says, "Get rice bowl, eat rice." So the student was puzzled, of course, that he followed the master's instructions. He got his rice bowl, he ate rice, and he came back very humbly with the empty rice bowl and said, "Master, I've accomplished your accomplishment, your instructions. I planted the rice, I cooked the rice, I ate the rice, and for evidence, here's the rice bowl. Wash rice bowl." You didn't want to think about that one. Second Zen story. Of course, the young student was coming to this large, expansive river and looked across the river and says, "How am I going to cross this river?" Looked all up and down for a possible canoe or a boat or something. Nothing was in view. Then he noticed, oh, there's the master's on the other side. So he shouted, say, "Master, master, how do I get to the other side?" The master contemplated, looked up and down the river, and his response was, "You are on the other side." Think about that one for a moment. Okay, so once again, welcome to the Alaska Center for Spiritual Living. And I'm so honored to have the opportunity I got a call from Reverend Don yesterday afternoon saying he had to attend to a personal matter. And so do I have a hip pocket talk? Okay, so I'm very honored to sit in for him. I just wanted to say that, in case some of you are confused, since it was announced Reverend Don was speaking today, I didn't want to confuse you and think that I was the Reverend Don, because we have similar barber, so I know our hairstyle might confuse you. Okay. And we trust that as Reverend Don tends to his personal matter, and he said that he also plans to be with his family this afternoon and have a good time with them as well. So I'm going to pray and hold him in peace, and knowing that it's also perfect outcome for him. Okay, but we're here. My topic today is prepare with pre-prayer. Prepare with pre-prayer. Little Zen title there, okay? Okay. And I want to remind us that we can rise to the occasion of challenges and opportunities through spiritual practices of meditation and the prayer, which is the power of our word. And a pun isn't intended for the class coming up, called the power of our word. Okay. And I'll be speaking from the I today. I'm going to share with you some of my thoughts and part of my journey, my interpretation of this. And I'm assuming that you will identify with much of it as well. And I know that the end result of life for me, that came to me through many years of prayer and meditation, is that I want to live a life of continuous inner peace in the middle of it all. Some of you have often heard me say that I want to live life spiritually, not circumstantially. Which means in the middle of ups and downs of life, my desire, my aspiration is to remain centered in spirit, inner peace. I also want to live a life of outer harmony. Now, what does that mean for me when I say outer harmony? Well, since I'm that student seeking to have a spiritual identity, my outer harmony is my emotional thoughts, my physical body, in all of my affairs, in my relationships. I desire to live a life of harmony in all that concerns me, in the middle of it all. Also, I want to live a life of prosperity. And what does that mean to me? Prosperity, I learned, and particularly when I took that spiritual development class called Spiritual Economics, in which we were reminded that prosperity is an overall feeling of well-being. That you have both a subconscious and outer conscious awareness that your needs are met, regardless of the appearance, the outer circumstances. So the book, of course, Spiritual Economics, kind of, we're thinking about that wealth and money and finance. And he says, yes, and true prosperity is that inner peace of well-being. And as the scriptures say, if you seek the kingdom of heaven and right useness of the laws, all these things will be added to you also. So it's really important to me, I don't know about you, okay, that I have both inner peace, harmonious relationships with my body, and prosperity of health, prosperity of sound emotions, prosperity of good relationships, prosperity of individuals like you are right here in this room, and those of you who are in the Zoom room, okay? The prosperity of attracting souls that resonate with my life purpose and assignments. And the prosperity of variety of circumstances, the wealth of living, and yes, finances, right? Now we all know that money is not everything, but I found out everything goes better with money, okay? So prosperity includes it all. That's why it's part of the reading today, and thank you, Stevie, for the introduction as well as the reading that you did. The reading, of course, reminds us that the true prayer is both the strengthening of us inwardly as well as strengthens us outwardly. And as we continue to grow in our Zen zest, okay, we'll soon become to know that there's really no difference between the sacred or what we call the secular. Both the inward and the outward is truly all one. So that's what I'm desiring. How does that fit you? Some of your desires, okay? But then what happens, of course, in all of our zest for the Zen, okay, that inner peace and the calm and steadiness of life, shift happens. Okay. I don't know what you're thinking. Shift is changes happen. Okay. All right. Okay. And oftentimes when this shift happens, right, it emerges unexpected often. Now, I challenge us when we use the term emergency. Now, an emergency truly is an unexpected event. Something that's difficult and challenging and dangerous, and we have to think or act quickly to respond to it. But some of the things that, as I teach my sons, we don't have an emergency fund. You have a change fund, okay, or a shift fund, okay, because shift happens, okay. And we know, right? So you have an automobile, you have a tire. That's not an emergency. Every now and then we have flats, so you have a change fund called a spare tire. We know I could have a sick day, and that may not always have sick leave or whatever the case may be, so I have a shift fund, a change fund, right? And these are things that are expected. Why? Because it happens. That's like here in Alaska, right? I see that little dust at the top of the mountains now, right? All right, now come on, we know what's happening, right? Okay, this is a shift that's happening, right? And it happens here periodically. All right, so in the middle of winter, why am I saying, oh, I forgot my snow tires? No, that's not an emergency. That's expected. We just don't know when it's going to happen. But then there are situations that happen suddenly and unexpectedly, and I kind of think earthquakes kind of can, maybe not an emergency in Alaska, because we should expect them. But when they happen, they pretty well shake me up too. Okay, all right. And of course, we could have a serious accident, beyond expectations like that. So yes, things do happen. okay, unexpectedly. Now, what I have learned to grow in, because once again, I want my spirituality to include all of life. A lot of these shifts or things that happen really aren't unexpected. It's only a matter of when it's going to happen, right? So, for example, one of the shifts that I've grown through, which was a major block for me in my spiritual journey, through prayer and meditation, is coming at peace with death. Because in my family culture, when we were growing up, it was a tremendous emergency, emotional, stressful emotions. And then through spiritual practices and attending spiritual development classes here at the Center for Spiritual Living, and meditation and prayer, I grew to the stage now I expected and I accepted. And I prepare myself for it. And we're going to talk about, I'm going to share with you some techniques that I have learned to do to get to that point, okay? So, but we are the Center for Spiritual Living. Now, we do know that in the outer forms, we should have an emergency kit, preparedness kit, am I correct? We should be prepared for changes. So we should have a spare tire. We might want to have an emergency kit of a medical kit in our home. And of course, we're in Alaska because we do have earthquakes, okay? And then we should have a container of preparedness, you know, both ability to light the path, may it be candles or flashlights, and some food and water, a preparedness kit. Now, so, but we're at the Center of Spiritual Living, we encourage us to do that, all of that. Because Ernest Holmes, the founder of religious science, says, this philosophy that we call science of mind is a correlation of the laws of science, the opinions of philosophy, and the revelations of religion. And then we apply this to our everyday needs and our aspirations. So we here at the Centers for Spiritual Living across the world and here in Alaska, and we call our philosophy the philosophy of the science of mind, which means the mind of God. Okay, so we're studying the mind of God. We embrace all of life. And we understand that, yes, we embrace science. We embrace the opinions of philosophy, and particularly moral philosophy and social justice and environmental justice, right? And we embrace, and I should say, no, sorry, I lost my thought at the moment, okay? Okay, and we embrace the revelations of religion. And as you see from our opening ceremony, the wide path of religious philosophies and how they contribute to our lives. So as part of that, then the question is, how do we handle change when it comes up? Well, our spiritual preparedness packet includes spiritual practices such as affirmations. When you speak affirmatively as though that which you desire to experience outwardly already is. And we speak it personally and powerfully in the present moment as though it already is. Now people say, oh, that's kind of, you know, that wooey stuff. Well, it's maybe wooey stuff, but also was wooey in the scriptures, right? Jesus said, right, speak it as though, pray as though it already is. So that's called an affirmation, right? Now, so affirmations is spiritual practice. Affirmative prayer. Affirmative prayer means we take these affirmations and we put it in a spiritual context and we speak it forth, we pray it forth. We believe in meditation, different types of meditations. There are some meditations for the physical well-being. You know, now it's been scientifically confirmed that meditation does help us manage stress, our heartbeats, and everything else. And there's meditations for peace of mind, and there's meditations for the expansion, the awareness of our soul and our journeys. So various types, and there's also a meditation that we call visioning and visualization, which has been around forever. When I was in the sales business, we used visualization in sales. I understand that there's some of the basketball teams now, the superstars, use visualization in practicing basketball. You know, shooting the hoops in your mind as well as on the floor. All right. So these are things that we do. So I'm gonna suggest to you 3 things that I've learned to do from my spiritual preparedness packet. All right. Number 1 is the visualization, and I'm sure how I learned to apply it in a very practical way, right? Because once again, remember, we want to apply this to our everyday needs. So since one of the things I was challenged with in growing up and as a young man was the death of my parents, and then through taking spiritual classes and everything, and I cannot recall the exact book where I got this from, but it said, what you might want to do is think about what happens when you get these 3 o'clock in the morning phone calls. Is that since we've gone through life denying death and not really accepting it, we don't have a neural path in our brain to accept the information. Therefore, when we hear it, the information comes in, our brain says, does not compute, shut down. Okay? And some of us, we either go into an emotional shutdown, we can't remember what the phone, we have to call the person back again. So what was that again? Right? And sometimes we literally physically faint and pass out. Okay? Because once again, so therefore it's suggested, visualize this. Visualize something like that happening and think about how you're going to respond to it before it happens. Prepare. Pre-prayer. Okay, before it happens. So what did I do? I started to visualize my parents passing away, and what would I do in that case? Now, one of the practical things to do, you don't have your airline ticket, right? Think about this. See, spirituality is very practical, right? And what would I do, right? So, to start thinking, I won't go through the detail, but you start thinking through those things. Now, as a parent, these wonderful children, they're toddlers. Prepare, pray, right? But the one thing I teach when I give community classes, I say there's two things. You get two ages of children who need adult supervision. That is toddlers and teens, right? And when they get to those teen years, we have to pray and pray for ourselves and our children. So what did I do? I imagined the worst thing that I could have probably imagined happen to my children. They're out in the world. Now, even now they're young, they're adults, right? Beyond the teenage years, they're out and they're adults now. But still, shift happens. So I thought that through and I prayed on it, right? And prepared myself for that and did affirmations on it. And then, of course, that's visualization. Then when things actually happen, practice the presence. So yes, you're thrown by a loop every now and then. Okay, and I remember I went through years of this loop after loop after loop, but then you keep going back to your spiritual practice, keep recentering yourself. Use your meditation and your prayers in the middle of the experience. Because why? You prepared, and when things happen, that's right, I have a flashlight in the closet, right? I got a bag of food and water. That's right, I have prayer and meditation. And, as Stevie just announced, I have a spiritual 911 I can make called for practitioners for prayer, right? And many of you know several years ago I had an emergency situation where it really was an emergency for me. It was totally unexpected. One of my sons, and I literally could not figure out how to get in the shower and get dressed. I was so confused, mental block and shock, right? However, within a few minutes, I picked up that phone, I called the practitioners for prayer. And then I sat down and did my own prayer. And it was as though I had got a shot of medication. Spirit lifted me. And within the hour, even though I was momentarily in shock myself, I was here at the spiritual center praying for someone else and their concerns. Okay? And where did that come from? Because I had been through spiritual preparedness. I had been pre-prayed, okay? And then, of course, you had the visualization. We have the practice before it happens, the practice in the middle of it happening. And of course, as we practice, we get better, which means we get better at what we do, all right? Now, and then, of course, the third level is, and this is when I got to that, what I call, when I'm reaching for that Zen level, right? In the middle of it all, allow and trust and know. Even though this situation was totally unexpected, I could not have imagined this happening. Even though I have practiced many different things in my life, when things came up and I practiced the presence to the middle of it, but this particular event that happened to me, I could not have imagined it. And I'm ready. Because there's a thing called the infinite. God, Spirit, that is the infinite. And when I allow through my meditation and my prayer practices to open up my mind, not only my brain neural path, but my spiritual neural path, to receive the word of the infinite into my life, miraculous things happen. And I can now do things and respond to emergencies or situations that I never could have imagined. Because why? I'm pre-prayed up. I'm prepared. And yes, I may also still need to call 911, right? But I'm calling with the confidence in knowing that all is truly well. So I would encourage each one of us to take time now to visualize things that may happen, and let's prepare for that. And let's talk to our friends and enlightened ones, whoever our masters or teachers may be. It could be a wise grandmother, it could be a spouse or a friend. But let's work ourselves through this. So as we experience this pandemic now, and we know this was a massive thing that happened to us, that many of us, I know I surely was not prepared for it, and yet I knew in the very beginning of it, I was able to rise above the fear of it and knew that we were going to be all right because I had done my pre-prayer work. Okay, it was prayed up. And so let's do that for ourselves personally. We're going through personal challenges every day. Pray yourself up, meditate yourself up. Attend spiritual practices class, read your inspirational books, and prepare yourself. Because in the middle of it, we want to do this. Not only do we want to survive the experience, we want to thrive through the experience. We want to be at the place that we're now, as we said in our philosophy, not only attend to our needs, but our aspirations. As you know, for some of us for some individuals, I'm waiting for this to happen for me, right? You get all of a sudden a phone call and you won $5 million. People go into shock. They're not prepared how they're going to invest the money, right? Remember now, I'm living an okay life, middle class life, all my bills are paid, and I get this $5 million investment, and 2 years later I'm in bankruptcy, all right? So not only do we want to prepare for the unexpected, so negative events, prepare our minds also for the positive opportunities that come in life. And so keep our minds open for, I have things and dreams I want to achieve in life. And if I'm going to achieve these dreams, act as though it already is. So I've already got my investment plan, okay? So if you want to leave me at $5 million, I'm ready for it, okay? All right. I know exactly how I want to invest it, right? And also from the overflow, give and support things that are important to me. Matter of fact, that's one of the reasons why I'm so happy and thankful that I'm at the stage of life now where I can give to my spiritual center, the Alaska Center of Spiritual Living, because I'm like a Bill Gates and the rest of those big guys. Just a matter of difference in zero. Just don't look at that. Okay. And I'm a philanthropist to the Alaska Center for Spiritual Living, as I am to the Red Cross, and to other organizations in town that's important to me for the goodness of humanity and our general society and the world. So we want to prepare through pre-prayer, through challenges and for opportunities. Because why? You deserve it. We deserve it. Because somewhere I read and I heard that in the beginning, God breathed into us the breath of life. And then somewhere later I read and I heard that in the beginning was the Word. And the Word was with God, and the Word is God, and the Word became flesh. Then somebody said also word that in the beginning, there is no God but Allah, the one God. And Allah is the cherisher and the sustainer of all the worlds. And then someplace I heard and I read, and I've been practicing for the last 30 years, this place called the Centers for Spiritual Living. And they said that there is this one presence by any name you want to call it. And it is the absolute infinite. And it incarnated itself as you and I. And matter of fact, then it taught me to do a prayer called Affirmative Prayer, which I recognize this infinite presence. I remind myself that I'm at one with it. And then somebody told me, if you meditate on that oneness, you will experience the Spirit not only coming to your aid, it will come through you and eventually as you. You and I are the light. We are the radiant expression of God. We are the hands of God. We are the face of God. Allow that light to shine through you and as you. Because why? You deserve it and we deserve it. Our city, our state, our nation, this beautiful nation called the United States of America, deserves you and I being more conscious. And beyond that, our global village called the earth deserves you and I being our best selves. So let us rise to the occasion. Let us prepare through pre-prayer and allow the Spirit to shine forth as you and I. Let us pray. So I ask us to take a moment to take a collective breath, a deep breath together, as we recognize the infinite presence. That presence would be, which we call by many names, whether it's love, Yahweh, Elohim, Allah, Jesus, the Christ, or the Buddhic consciousness. Whatever resonates with us, we recognize it's the one, infinite. And I'm so thankful that right here and right now, I know that this infinite expresses itself through infinite ways and means. It sleeps in the minerals. It waves in the vegetation. It scampers about through the animal life. And it walks about in human consciousness. And it glows and shines in spiritual consciousness. Oh, I'm so thankful to know this truth. And I speak this word to our daily needs, our daily bread. So if anyone may be going through experiences of challenges with ourselves physically, with our mental health, with our emotional health, our financial health, or relationship health, oh, I pray this prayer of peace and blessings upon us. And I pray this prayer, first of all, of inner peace. Oh, that peace that is beyond human understanding, because it simply is the infinite itself. And I pray that each one of us go forth in life in harmony and prosperity. The harmony in our relationships, the harmony with money, the harmony in our emotions, and the prosperity of abundance. An abundance of health, wealth, life, vibrancy. Praise be to God in every dimension of our life. And not only do I pray this for each one of us individually, but I also pray this truth for our collective consciousness. So in addition to and inclusive of the United States of America, I pray this health for the United States of consciousness of all of humanity. To know that truth that we are the infinite expressing as us. We are one. And let there be peace and prosperity. And for this, I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful that it is so now. So please join me in affirming, and so it is. Amen. And so it is. Praise God.
I am a radiating center of light. Through me only
Wonderful. Well, that vibration from the music is shining this morning. Thank you very much. That is awesome. Okay. And now it's time for another spiritual practice called the law of circulation. Okay. So we have the opportunity to bless the spiritual center, and as we bless the spiritual center both with our prayers and financially, we know that this light from this center also radiates out to our community. And let's see, where is our affirmation?
Here.
Okay. Oh, thank you. No, I meant the affirmative. Okay. I'll take this too. Thank you. All right. So, please say with me: divine love
through me
blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And thank you, God. And so it is. Thank you, Judy, for my affirmation. Okay. And my affirmation is, I am a magnet for financial abundance and prosperity. Hey. All right. And we want to thank those of us who are online and also watching. I understand Michelle Skaman has joined us. Nanetta is online. Deidre. Welcome, Deidre. And hello, Deidre. Blaze. Angela. Claire. And Luann, and many others. My eyesight fails me now. Okay, we want to thank all of you who are online supporting us, as well as you receive the instructions, of course, of how to support us online as well. Okay. So thank you.
God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need. God is my source, God is my power, God is my source, God is my power, God is my source, God is my power, God is my source. God is my source, God is my power, God is my source, God is my power, God is my source, God is my power, God is my source. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need. God is my source, God is my power, God is my source, God is my power, God is my source, God is my power, God is my source. God is my source, God is my power, God is my source, God is my power, God is my source, God is my power, God is my source. God is my source, God is my power, God is my source, God is my power, God is my source, God is my power, God is my source. God is my source, God is my power, God is my source, God is my power, God is my source, God is my power, God is my source.
And let us tap into that source, taking a moment to assert that in the middle of it all, when we live in that source and in that spirit, we live a life centered in peace, knowing that all of our needs are met as we call forth our true prosperity. And as we strengthen inward today, we observe the outward transformation, preparing by being pre-prayed up. We can trust in our ability to prevail when shift happens. Tapping into that meditation, those affirmations, visualizations, whatever it is that is our medicine for our spiritual packet and our preparedness kit. So in the event of the unexpected, we allow, we surrender to the infinite, we let it go, and so it is.
And so it is.
And our affirmation for today: I am one with the power of my word.
I am one with the power of my word.
I am prepared in the middle of it all.
I am prepared in the middle of it all.
I expect the unexpected.
I expect the unexpected.
And so it is.
And so it is.